Now let me show you the processes running on my system. So you can see that processes are running on my system. Now let me show you the drive details. See, details of the drive on my system. Hello everyone, welcome back. So today's topic of discussion will be is in the continuation of my previous video on the Windows form. So in my previous video, I discussed how to create a form and then add various form elements like text box, labels, buttons, and how to add functionality to those buttons. This video is in continuation of my previous video on Windows form. In this video, I will be telling you how to add drop down box or a drop down menu to your Windows form or to your forms, and how to add options to them, and how to select option and get a desired output. So I will be discussing everything. So watch my video till end, and you will be comfortable in Windows form and adding drop down menus to your forms. So as usual, before starting anything, we have to first create a form, and in order to create a form we have to repeat the same things which we did in my previous videos. So if you want to know in detail, you can go back to my previous video on forms, and the link I will be mentioned in the description box, and you will be comfortable here in this lecture. So before watching this lecture, I would recommend you to watch my previous video, and then it will be comfortable for you. So I have added these two assemblies, and these two are important assemblies which we will be using. Okay. So first of all, before doing anything, just we have to create a form first, and on that form you will do everything. So let's create a form. So the method to create a form is, first let us create a variable, and then again the same method. So I hope you all know from my previous videos that how to create a form. Okay, this is a form. This is an object. So I have converted the assembly into an object, a form, and with this object will have many different properties and methods. So let's decide the form size. Let us give a form size to the form. Then drawing. Okay. Then size. So I am giving it a size of 600 by 400. Okay. Now let's see. The form is already created now, and all of these things I have discussed in my previous videos. Okay. So it will be easy for you if you refer my previous videos. So you can see the form is created. Now this form is just a form, it does not have anything. Okay. So I'm going to add things, the form elements one by one. So let's add a, okay, let's first add Dropbox. Okay. What is the method to add a Dropbox? So I'm going to add a description, creating drop down box. Okay. And the method to create a drop down box is, I will be uh, using one property of the Windows form. Okay. So let me first, I will be storing all of this thing into a variable. We, since this thing is in the Windows form assembly, okay, the drop down option. So what we have to do is we have to use this property ComboBox. So it is a drop down. Now let's give it a location that where that box will be present. Okay, and to give location we will be doing the same thing. So you can see that working on a form is very easy once you are comfortable enough, because we are using the same things, same concepts, for size, same concept for location of anything, whether it is a Dropbox, whether it is um, label, whether it is a text box, anything. The concept is same. Right? So I'm going to give this location to the um, drop down box. Let's give it a size. So what will be the size? So I'm copying this and I will just change the parameters. Okay, for the parameters which I will be using is 180 by 20. And there is one more thing, drop down height. So height I'm going to mention 200. I will show you what this is actually. And now since we have given the size, location and height to the Dropbox, now we will be adding the Dropbox into the form onto the form. Okay, so what is the method? As you all know, same method here, then add method, and I have discussed everything in my previous video. Let's see what is there. So you can see that a box is created, a drop down box is created. Okay, you have this if we run it, we have this drop down box, but there is nothing here. You can see that it is blank. Now what is the method to do that? How we can do it? The method is very simple. We have to there is a property, or there is a method of the drop down that is called uh, items.add method. So that I will be discussing. So if you want to add any options to this, then how you can do it. Right now I will be adding three options here. Okay, so I will be adding three options. One is to get service. The service is running on the system. Second option will be to see the process is running on the system, and third option will be is to get the details of the drives on the system. Okay, so I will be adding the three options in the drop down menu. So what's the process to do it? The process is, first of all, create a um, array. Okay, so let me make it the first, create a variable. So let me create a variable called details, and this will be an array. The method to create array is like this. If you want, you can see it. This is just a simple method if you want to create any array. So I will be the first option which will appear in the drop down box will be service details. So if you will select this, you will get the services running on the system. And how we can do this, I will just explain it in the last moment when everything is complete. Process details, and then set drive details. Okay, now this is have created an array of these things. Now what we have to do is we will be using a for each loop. Okay, and you all would have an idea that what is a for each loop and how to use a for each loop in PowerShell. And if you don't have an idea, I will make a video on it, how to use the loops in PowerShell on the coming in my next videos, means in my coming videos. So you have to wait for it. Okay. So as I told you, there is a property items dot add. This is a method. What you have to do, you have to add this detail here. And now when I will run, you can see that these options will be present on the drop down. See, you can sorry, you can see the options. You can match the options. Okay? Service details, process details, drive details. Okay, so this has created. Now we have created this thing. Now next thing is let's since we are done with the drop down, so I'm going to create a text box. Okay, so what this text box will do, it will give the output of the options which we will be selecting in the text box in the drop down box. Okay, so I'm going to name it as output box. I have discussed everything in my previous video. Yeah. New object, system dot windows. Let me copy this dot text box, or there is one more option, rich text box. They both will give you the same result, but here your fonts, your words fonts will be highlighted. They will be bold actually. Okay, so let's give again the same thing. Give location to the, and the method to give location is again the same thing. I'm copying this. Okay, and just I will be changing the parameters. Parameters will be 10, 150. Now this is the location where this will this out there where this output box will be present. Now let's give it a size. To give size, again you have to do the same thing, and the size which I will be giving to this is 565 200. Okay. And again all the I will be using all the properties which I used in my previous video on window form. Okay, so this is multi-line. Okay, otherwise if you will not make this property true, you will not be able to see the whole information. It will give you only one line information. You will not be able to see them. And then again we will be adding a scroll button. Vertical scroll bar. Okay, and then what I will be doing is I will be adding this control box to in the on the to the form. Control box. Sorry. Controls dot add and output box. So let me show you, means these things you are familiar with. Okay, but what are these things? Okay, This thing I will tell you what this will mean in the last video. This is basically this will give a bunch of information. Otherwise, if you'll not, I told you that if you will not make this property true, then you will not be able to see the whole information. No, you will only be able to see one line information. That will be incomplete. So let me show you what is this. Let me first make it a comment here, make it a comment, so it will not then read this line. So let me show you what I mean. You can see here that this box is created. This is a text box actually, so here we will be getting the output, the text box. So you can see that this box is created. What if if the information crosses this whole box and it goes down? So how you will be able to see? You will not be able to see. You can see that all you have to do is you have to use this you have to take this cursor down, by um, the down key on your laptop. Okay, so but there is one better way to do this, that is by adding the scroll bar. So you can see right now that there is no scroll bar here. So what this property will do, this property will add a scroll bar to it. Right now it is not showing the scroll bar, but I think it will show on the last when there will be information. So let's see what happens at the last, then I will tell you. Okay, so let's move forward. Now let's create a button. Okay, we have, so yes, create a button. You should add comments because it helps you in identifying your section, and it is a good practice also. So to add a button, we will be doing the same thing. We will using this assembly and making it an object, and then we will do this again, the same thing. We will be giving, we will be mentioning the location, and to do that we again have to do this, the same thing. Oh, sorry. Okay, that's good. And the location which I will be giving it will be 430, again then button size is equal to, again same thing. Now the size will be 80 and 50. Now what we have to do, we have to give the name or text to the button so that you will be able to classify that what it is for. So text, I'm giving it the name system information. I'm naming the button as system information. And the last thing, we have to add the button to the form. Okay, let's see. You can see this button has appeared here now. Now let's do the main thing. Okay, the interesting part begins now. Now let's add functionality to this. Okay, what would happen if I select, what would happen if I select this option and then click start this system information button? So let's see what happens. Okay, so before to do that, let me create a function first. The method to create a function is simple. I have discussed. I haven't discussed, but I may discuss these fundamentals in my next videos. Okay. So I'm naming this function as get details. Okay. Now what we'll be doing is we will be using this method selected item dot to string, and what this will do is that this method will tell you that we have selected which option here in the form. This selection will tell you if I've selected this, then this will be stored here in this this method, this thing, service details, or this will be stored here if I select. Okay, so so I'm going to store it in a variable. Let this variable be anything. um, Let this variable be named as selection. Okay, now since I have selected it, what I have to do now? So I will be using an if statement that suppose selection, if selection equals service details, then what it has to do? It has to run this command get service, and the output should be in string, the form strings. Okay, and where it should give the output, it has to give the output on the outbox which we created. So what is the method to do that? You have to call that output box dot text, sorry, we have to store it here. Okay, now we have three options. So else if dollar selection equals mm, let me see, because whatever is written here, that should be there, otherwise it will give error if something goes wrong. So what it has to do now, if this is the case, then what it will do is it will store the output, will store the output of this command, because we want to know about the process. So it will run the get process commandlet actually, and it will store the output in this variable, and this variable and sorry, here in this output box, and this is the variable which has the output box, and this is the uh, property of the output box, that is dot text, that what will be printed inside the output box. Let me show you what I mean. This output.txt is nothing but what will be the output here. This tells us. Okay, so I mean to say that only. Now else if dollar selection equals, what is the third option? Drive details. So again we are going to do the same thing, and to get drive details we have a command called get ps drive, and this is we want the output in string format. Okay, so now we have created this function. So how this form will run? This form will run once we select something here, and then we press this button. But right now it is not giving any output because we haven't added that function on the to the button actually. So how we will do it? I have, as already have told you, the method to do that is dollar button dot add underscore click, then curly bracket, then I need to mention this. So now let's see what happens. You can see, okay, that it is giving the output, and now you can see that this tab vertical scroll bar is present. Now you can see this, so you can scroll up and down. Okay, so this is giving you service details. Okay, now let me show you the processes running on my system. So you can see that processes are running on my system. Now let me show you the drive details. See, details of the drive on my system. So this is, this is what is um, how to add. This is just a small video on how to add drop down to your forms and how to make it fully functional form by using drop down. So if you are creating any tool or anything, then you can use this option as well as buttons or options also, which I have mentioned in my previous video. Okay, so this was just a small video, and I hope you would have really liked it, and you really liked it, and you want to know more about the yes, you want my next video as soon as possible. So I'm working on that, and if you want to know the more in detail or basics of this, you can refer to my previous video. Like my video, and please subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, okay? And share your comments about whether you like the video or not, and if you want anything else to discuss, then please mention that on the comment